We are your Lakers, Chargers, and of course your Aztec station as well. Nice start to the season for San Diego State. They opened with a big win over Nicholls State. Then over the weekend, they pound New Mexico State 41-21, looking ahead to Missouri. Now joining us is the defensive coordinator for those Aztecs, now in his second season with the team, Rocky Long. Rocky, great to have you on the show. How was the weekend in Las Cruces?
Well, I don't really enjoy Las Cruces very much, but the game went all right, so coming back to San Diego with the win's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Congrats on the victory. Now, Coach, after 2 games, have you seen enough to evaluate this defense?
I've seen enough to see that we have some potential, and if we continue to improve from like we did from the first game to the second game, we've got a chance to be very competitive and keep us in games.
Coach, you run a 3-3-5 defensive scheme that can be very difficult to learn, difficult to grasp, but it gives a lot of players with athleticism a chance to really make plays. Talk about the performance of Andrew Preston playing your rover position, or your Aztec position as you call it.
Well, that position's a hybrid position where you have to play free safety sometimes. You have to play man-to-man on slots like a defensive back does. And then there's a lot of times we drop him down into the box where he plays like a linebacker. So that's a multi-talented person that has to play there. And I was a little disappointed in the way he played the first game, but he played well of a game against New Mexico State and made a lot of plays for us.
With that being said, you guys, your style of defensive calling involves a lot of blitzing. When you do that, a team like that, a defense like that who blitzes so much, do you let the game kind of take on its own personality first, or do you try to force the issue with blitz calling?
That's a great question. Now, we try to force the issue if we need a big play. If we need something to spark or change the momentum of the game or spark our team, we will try to force the issue. But if things are going okay, we kind of let the game come to us. We try to figure out what they're trying to do to us. They're playing against our blitzes, and then try to adjust the blitzes and the coverages to keep them under control. But we will try to force the issue if things aren't going good.
Aztecs now 2-0, getting ready for Missouri this upcoming weekend. Defensive coordinator Rocky Long is our guest. And, Coach, you're back. Al Borges is back. Brian Sipe is back. Brady Hoke is back. How important is that to have consistency at that level where everybody's back?
Well, I think keeping the coaching staff together is the most important thing in developing a program. The players get used to how you do things, how you teach, how you react, so they adjust to you. And once we all get used to each other, things can move along a lot faster. And if you have changeover from time to time, it really slows the process down in building a program.
Hey, Coach, as I was watching that game Saturday, as a typical fan, I expected you guys to go in there and grab a win. But at first, it didn't look so great. What kind of adjustments did you guys make at halftime? Did you have to address anything in particular?
Well, on defense, we struggled early in the game because we didn't know exactly what we were going to get. They had a new offensive coordinator that runs the spread, and they had us on our heels a little bit. And then we settled down and played pretty good in the second quarter, and I think our offense struggled a little bit in the first half, but really played well in the second half. So on offense, we made some really good adjustments. On defense, we blew a couple coverages in the second half, or we probably would have played much better.
Coach, you're in your third game of the season. Nicholls State, the first one you won that. New Mexico State, the second one you won that one. Now you're going into a team. Missouri may be down a little bit. They lost a few key players, but at the same time, it's still a Big 12 school. It's still a school with a name. How do you keep your kids from kind of being back on their heels when they walk in there and play the guys?
Well, I don't think any Division I football player that's a competitor worries about who you're playing. They have great respect for Missouri, obviously, because they know they're a Big 12 team that's had good success over the last few years. But I don't think that there's any nerves about it. I think we can compete, and I think that our players think they can compete and win, and we're just going to go in and play as hard as we can and see how it comes out. But I don't think we're overconfident by any means, and I don't think there's any kind of intimidation factor whatsoever.
Hey, Coach, take us through that weekly itinerary. When it comes to breaking down film, have you guys already started looking at Missouri?
We started yesterday. We worked all day yesterday, and then the players have today off, so we work all day today. And players come in tomorrow, and we have a preliminary game plan set after all the scouting reports are done, and then we adjust it as the week goes along.
I'm so impressed with a team that runs a 3-3-5 defense. I can't get off of that. But with that being said, how long do you think it would be? And the guys are showing that very opportunistic style of defensive play. But how long do you think it will be until you have 100% the type of guys that you need to run your defense exactly the way you want it?
Well, I mean, it's a process of developing the players you already have in the program and recruiting. Usually about the third year, everybody in the program understands and feels comfortable with the defensive scheme, so you can make adjustments on the run. And we're a whole lot better this year than we were last year, and we're doing a lot more things than we did last year, but we still make an assignment error here and there. We still don't have a good feel for a few of the blitzes we run. It usually is in the third year where everything clicks.
Talking to Rocky Long, Aztecs defensive coordinator, getting ready for Missouri. Now, how long does it really take to put your identity on a team? Because this is season number 2. Last year, there were some initial struggles, but can you give the fans a deadline? Do you say it takes 2 years, it takes 3 years, or is that just subjective?
Well, I think till everybody's on the same page, it takes 3 years. That's my personal opinion. Now, I think that any new program ought to be given 5 years because it's a recruiting process. You don't have until your 4th or 5th year, you don't have all your own players that you recruited. Now, the players that were here when we got here, they've done a great job of adjusting, and obviously they're getting better as we go. But you really don't have your program in place until you get all your own players.
Coach, a guy like yourself is very, very familiar with this conference from top to bottom from your days with the Lobos. Now you find out BYU is going independent. Utah will be joining the Pac-10, and in comes Boise State. What was your response when you heard about these future changes for the conference?
Well, I was disappointed, first of all, because I think if we got Boise into the conference and BYU State and Utah State, I think that the next time it came up for a vote that we would be a BCS league and get an automatic berth. And I think with Utah and BYU leaving, I think that makes it subjective once again. I think Boise's a great addition. Fresno's a good addition, too. But if we could have kept those other two, I think it would have been a foregone conclusion. So I'm disappointed about that. But I think it's still the best non-BCS league there is, and I think this league's better than 2 BCS leagues right now.
Real quick, Coach, you said they're better. You're better than 2 BCS conferences right now. I kind of agree, and I have them in my mind. Which 2 conferences would that be, would you say?
Well, I know we're better in the Big East for sure, and I think we're better in the ACC.
Okay, there you go. All right.
Coach, thank you for joining the show. Best of luck against Missouri.
All right, thank you, guys.